So we got a comment on one of our videos by Zaffer C. I think some General Mills cereal mascots could make some great screen-to-screen topics.
Oh, yes.
I've got an idea for this. The General Mills mascots, you've got like a whole bunch of characters who are either trying to get cereal or can't get the cereal or have the cereal, people are trying to get their cereal. But General Mills also has the monster cereal. My pitch is the Dark Spooniverse. Hello everyone, welcome back to Screen to Screen. I'm Andrew and this is Chris.
Hello there.
Yeah, well, Dark Universe wasn't good. I mean, The Mummy wasn't good, I'll say. Dark Universe probably wasn't going to be good anyway. But the Dark Spooniverse is, I see it as, we have 5 monster cereals. You've got Count Chocula, you've got Frankenberry, you've got Boo Berry, you've got Fruit Brute, and then you've got Fruity Yummy Mummy. And those are, the characters that have existed over the years. Not all of them around today, but the pantheon is there of those characters. And my thoughts are, we introduce each one of them in their own movie. And then we start, teaming them up. Maybe they meet up in other things. I'm thinking the first 5 movies are all in different time periods.
Ooh.
Or maybe just in the past. And then for like the meetup movies, now we're starting to get into more modern stuff.
I mean, obviously we're trying to do this better than the actual Dark Universe attempt. Right,
and step 1 is don't put all the crap in one movie and make it the first movie. I feel like we'd probably want to start off with Count Chocula.
That's a good, solid choice.
Because, they started off with The Mummy, and while that idea wasn't a bad idea, I feel like we're not Dark Universe, we're Dark Spooniverse.
Yeah, we're the Dark Spooniverse.
I think people are going to need to see Count Chocula to buy into this whole franchise.
I think that is a very safe bet. He's a good, recognizable fellow.
My thoughts on Count Chocula, the Count Chocula movie.
All right.
This is just like one of the ideas that we could do. Is we kind of base it on Dracula, like the story-wise.
So he's kind of aloof in his own little castle, and someone's coming to visit for a reason.
Yeah, and I think the Van Helsing analog should be a kid, because this is breakfast cereal for kids, and I think it'd be kind of fun. It'd be kind of fun to have the kids sort of play a major role in a lot of these stories. I imagine Count Chocula probably doesn't kill people.
No.
I imagine he's probably more into chocolate than blood.
I think that's a safe bet. He's a bit of a chocolate man, not a blood man.
And I don't know, it could be one of these things where he's like a creepy guy and people don't trust him, but he's actually a good-natured guy who just likes chocolate. We could,
we could have stories told from like a village's people, so everyone's like, oh, I know, I've heard the stories.
Now that is much more of a Frankenberry concept. So while that could be true for Count Chocula, I don't feel like that should be the focus.
All right, I'm gonna throw in maybe this Van Helsing analog is a descendant of Van Helsing.
Okay. So you want to go
family thing?
Hotel Transylvania.
They are doing that with the 3rd movie, aren't they? Damn
yeah.
Well, it's just because
Castlevania did that too, right?
Yeah.
Or something
lots
like that.
of things have done that.
Yeah. So you're thinking.
Or it could just be a kid who grew up watching monster movies and like, yeah, I'm gonna grow up, give me a monster hunter.
So you think that this first movie should take place not in the past, but in the modern day?
Oh, it could be in the past, but I'm not thinking like super olden days.
Okay, because I was thinking like Dracula days, like for the first movie.
I'm thinking set it up to look like Dracula days, but maybe have it be like in the 80s when the cereal was first kind of.
I mean, the 70s were technically.
Yeah,
like, I think 71 was the first year of that. So I mean, we could kind of do it that way. I just kind of like that sort of Captain America sort of like, let's put the origin story back in time just to have a fun thing, and then everything else is modern day.
All right. Well, fine.
Just to give
Past
it
is also good with me.
I think just to give it a little bit of flavor and, well,
Some chocolate flavor?
Some chocolate flavor, make it a little chocolatey. But maybe he's a count who has been importing chocolate, like, because I imagine back in those days, chocolate was probably like a new deal in
I imagine
in Europe.
you had to be a rich man too.
Yeah, yeah, like
luxury of chocolate.
Like maybe he's just like a count who. I mean, because now my mind's going in all sorts of crazy directions. Like, I see him going to, like, the New World and, like, discovering chocolate, and then maybe somehow, like, I'm thinking of, like, Pirates of the Caribbean, like, he becomes immortal, because these characters have to be immortal. Fruit Brute, probably not. He could just be a different Fruit Brute, like a son,
son of Fruit Brute.
Descendants of Fruit Brute. Or Fruit Brute doesn't have to take place in the past. I mean, Fruit Brute could take place in the 70s.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like it has to necessarily be based solely around chocolate or cereal, but, I mean, chocolate's gotta be involved somehow. I mean, maybe it's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Maybe he's giving, like, a tour of his house,
Do we want to go with the kid is here for hunting the vampire, or, like...
Possibly? Like, it's possibly, or, like, it's a way to go. Like, maybe... So, all right. So, Count Chocula, I think he is definitely a real vampire, but he's a weird one because he doesn't suck blood. He eats chocolate.
I mean, he's a vampire in the sense that he needs a thing to survive, and that thing is chocolate.
Okay.
How about we have Count Chocula living in his big old fancy castle.
Okay.
And we have a very destitute, poor village down in the valley, way below the castle, and everyone blames him for their problems.
Okay.
Just because they just assume
he's like hoarding the money or something.
Or like, livestock die, they blame it on him.
Oh,
there's bad crops.
They know he's a vampire.
Yeah,
so,
and
okay.
they blame everything on him because he's like an easy scapegoat.
Gotcha. Okay.
And the kid might just be, looking out for the family, assumes that if he takes care of the vampire problem, he can save the village. But it turns out that won't happen because, he's not a bad vampire.
Okay.
And maybe that's where Count Chocula realizes he might be able to help the village.
Alright, I kind of like that. I want to stick one more story beat in there.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Just to make it a little more interesting.
Because I'm just very baseline here.
No, I like that, but I just want to just tweak it just a bit. So the whole village is like, oh, there's a vampire and he's ruining everything. And the kid says, there's no such thing as vampires. I'm going to go and talk to the guy. And he finds out he is a vampire.
Alright.
But he is a chocolate vampire. And yeah, so Count Chocula has to kind of save the town. Probably using chocolate.
I assume.
I would imagine.
Using chocolate. Turning, maybe he does, chocolate sculptures or something. Or, no, it'd probably be a situation where he works with the townspeople. So, there's a guy who does sculpture, but no one buys the sculpture. They do chocolate sculptures.
Chocolate company.
So on and so forth.
Now, is this the end of the movie, or is this the first act? Is this the premise?
I was thinking the saving the town's probably the end. Mm-hmm. In which case, beginning is figuring out he's a vampire, the kid realizes he's not bad, but the townspeople don't believe him. I'm trying to figure out what Act 2 is, though.
I think I got a little something here, if this wasn't already implied. I'm thinking a little bit like a Beauty and the Beast sort of situation, in the way that you have, the Gaston character who wants to, kill the beast.
Yeah.
Not to say, the kid and Count Chocula are lovers by any means.
No.
But it's that sort of, you don't understand, but that's Frankenberry. I want to save that for Frankenberry.
Well, Frankenberry, yeah, we need that.
Frankenberry... That's tough. I want to have room for all of these characters to breathe here. And really, Frankenberry, I feel like Frankenberry's easy, it's just Frankenstein with berries,
Just with berries.
So I don't want to go too much into the misunderstood monster, but I feel like that's... A lot of these are going to be that. They're going to be misunderstood monsters. What kind of villain in that case would we have here?
Interesting.
I guess maybe the Van Helsing... Maybe a Van Helsing... isn't the kid. It's a Van Helsing comes to town.
Yeah, I'm starting to...
thinks he knows all about vampires.
I'm starting to swap over to your point of view, where maybe Act 1 ends with the kids and the vampire saving the town, and then Van Helsing shows up because he's been hearing rumors of a town enthralled by a vampire, which obviously a vampire has to be somehow manipulating these people.
Yeah.
That way we have an antagonist that could show up.
Now here's just maybe this will lead to something, because I don't think this is a good idea.
All right.
But is this the origin story where he learns to eat chocolate instead of people?
Ooh.
I don't know if we want to start him up eating people, though.
That's the thing. Like, is this a children's movie, or is this like a dark...
I think it has to be.
It has to be. It's a fucking... It's a breakfast cereal.
It's a breakfast cereal. You can't make... No one's going to want to watch, like, an actually dark breakfast cereal movie. Like, if the kids can't see this, then we're not going to get anyone to see this.
Let's go with a romance option and make this a bit of a Twilight.
Maybe it's sort of a thing. There's maybe it's like Chocolat. I don't know if you've seen that movie.
Oh no.
But it's sort of like there's a chocolatier in the town, and she's kind of like an outcast, and then some like rando who's Johnny Depp comes in, and kind of like he's kind of an outcast, and there's a bit of a thing going on there. But what I'm saying is that maybe there is someone in this town who is trying to make it as a chocolate maker. And then, like, Count Chocula, helps this person out. I don't know, like, something like that. And it's sort of like, it could be one of these things where, he's kind of this, like, benevolent wish granter of chocolate sort of thing. And they have to learn that they had it all along within them to succeed, like Aladdin or something.
I think we're on the right track at first, where the... Act 1, saving the village. Act 2, Van Helsing character shows up. Act 3, defeating this Van Helsing. I'm just wondering if we could work in character traits for our chocolate man to make it more interesting. Like a flaw of his.
Like the...
like again, going more the Pixar route where there's an antagonist. But like the driving force isn't so much that, it's... Right.
You have the Van Helsing guy in there, but he's maybe not the... He's the ticking clock. He's not necessarily the main focus.
Like he's the old man with a gun and up. Like the story would have happened without him. But...
Yeah. Maybe he's trying to find the vampire. He knows that there's one in this village, and the whole village is trying to protect Count Chocula.
Because Count Chocula saved the town.
Yeah.
It's a chocolate-based economy.
It's a chocolate-based economy. Maybe it starts... It starts off, he comes into town and everything's it's a chocolate-based economy. This is very strange. I don't understand this. What's the takeaway here? Like, what's the point of this movie?
To sell children
cereal.
you
can't come up to it from that angle.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if it was just a dumb children's movie, we are dumb. Like, we would just slap together a dumb ending.
I mean, we're not making food fight here.
No, we're making a Romeo and Juliet.
At least that. Well, there's also take this in another way, just for a moment. I didn't see Hotel Transylvania, but that is a movie that happened, and it's about a vampire, and it's not about eating people.
Yeah.
Like, so, maybe it's something as simple as that. It's basically, you could have a movie where it's basically just Hotel Transylvania, except you replace Dracula with Chocula, and you're done. Like that movie is about from what I understand, a creepy hotel run by monsters, and that's the premise, and his daughter and his relationship with his daughter.
Yeah, it's about a human falls in love with a vampire, but the dad doesn't accept it, and the second movie is about the firstborn child.
Right, and then the third one they go on vacation. So like, what I'm saying, like we could really be thinking way outside the box here. We don't have to
outside the cereal box.
Outside the cereal box.
You know what? Here's a structure for us.
Sure.
It's not going to be the whole thing, but it's a fun idea to get us started.
Yeah, get us somewhere.
So Act 1, right?
Okay.
It's everything we've been describing so far, where there's a town in trouble, and he saves it with chocolate, and then Van Helsing shows up. But Van Helsing actually does succeed. He convinces the town that this is all wrong.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say he kills
doesn't
Count
murder
Chocula.
Count Chocula. I'm just going in the town turns against him, and Count Chocula is disillusioned against humanity.
Okay.
And we cut to him in his coffin filled with Cocoa Puffs. He closes the lid. Zoom out. It's a boat on the way to America.
Right. It's got to be filled with cereal. I like that.
Yeah, it has to be filled with.
Because he's crossing the ocean.
Cereal.
Yeah.
Because it can't be a coffin full of dirt. It has to be the chocolate.
It's like cocoa powder, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that way we can pick up Act 2 with him being a recluse in America, and maybe the story could be about him learning to trust again via a child bringing him out of his shell.
Okay. I kind of like that.
Again, I don't have everything, but I like this
I like
idea.
it because this is going to be a series about misunderstood monsters, and we have to have each one has to have their own unique kind of way to do that.
Yeah, and I like this because now we have a character flaw we can work on. That Count Chocula is going to be like, no,
he's a recluse.
They're not ready. Yeah.
Like he's a vampire, and he's afraid of people because people don't like vampires.
Yeah.
But, you know, they don't even want to get to know him and know that he eats chocolate and not people.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now instead of, like, some angry kid or some kid trying to save a town, it could just be, like, kind of a weirdo kid who doesn't really have many friends. And that way he can reach out to Count Chocula, and it's two outcasts.
And we could still have that sort of thing where it's like, you know, like, I hear there's a vampire in that old building, and he's like, there's no vampire, and then he meets him. I mean, this is almost like Edward Scissorhands now.
A little bit.
Maybe it is then, maybe like not even Act 1, but like the beginning of Act 1 takes place in the past, and then maybe since he's like immortal, like we bring ourselves
way forward.
We don't have to be present day. It could be like the 70s.
Yeah, the 70s. That'd be good. Like, we could actually tie it into the actual cereal being made. Like, maybe the cereal is made because there is an actual Count Chocula.
Yeah, well, so the cereal. I get. You know what? You raise a good point, because I was gonna say, like, oh, the cereal exists in universe, but it does.
Yeah.
Like, it clearly does. In every commercial, it does. So okay. So we're in the 70s. There's a lot of ways we could go with this. It could be like during Halloween, like, and maybe because it is the first one, we want it to take place during Halloween, because the series only come out now around Halloween.
That's true.
So
lean into that seasonality.
Yeah. So maybe so it's around Halloween, and it's like the kids are daring each other to go in this creepy house, and the kid meets Count Chocula, and he's. I don't know. Like, maybe he hosts a Halloween party. Like, maybe that's his
his coming out of shell moment.
Yeah, and then that's when like the parents turn on him, and then that's like the low point. And then somehow he saves the town. Maybe Van Helsing. Maybe the descendant of Van Helsing finds him in this town.
I was gonna say, like, we could bring back Van Helsing, but through his child or grandchild.
Yeah.
However many layers deep we need to go for it to make sense.
Right. Great grandchild. Yeah, I guess Van Helsing. But this time, I guess ultimately he's accepted by the town. Like,
yeah, something needs to happen. I imagine the cereal might be our ticket there.
Yeah, that's how he gains his popularity.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't need to be about saving the town. It just needs to be about him.
That's true.
Learning to
trust. He doesn't have to save the town. He could save Halloween.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine, like, Halloween is also a time for chocolate. That's another reason for him to kind of.
How about the kid that meets him doesn't have any other friends? He's just hanging around Count Chocula because he's not afraid of him. Count Chocula's kind of getting worried, like, you need to be hanging out with people that aren't chocolate-sucking ghouls.
Yeah. Okay.
So, like, the big finish could be about this kid having friends, like, coming out of a shell, learning to, like, make friends.
Yeah. Maybe the kid is the descendant of Van Helsing and has like this sixth sense for vampires, but
doesn't want to hunt.
Them. Yeah. And like, oh, your great grandfather was a loony, like that's his parents telling him.
I like that. I like making him the descendant of Van Helsing. That's a good tie together.
Or whatever the Van Helsing. Is this literally Van Helsing, or is there like a chocolate Van Helsing, or like Vanilla?
Vanilla. Ooh, vanilla.
Vanilla.
I like that.
Professor Vanilla.
The Vanillas have always hunted these demons.
I think that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. It's tricky. Like, I don't want the kid to be a vampire hunter. I just want him to be a bit of a social outcast. That way we have that
Maybe
that learning to make friends element.
Maybe he's kind of like a maybe this is like Beetlejuice, and he's like a Lydia character.
Yeah.
You know, how she's like all gothy and stuff, and in touch with.
Doesn't really get along with her parents.
Yeah.
Feels kind
maybe of. Maybe it's Beetlejuice.
I'm cool with that.
Maybe it's Beetlejuice. Do you want to make the protagonist a goth girl? She can kind of like.
I'm in with that.
Yeah, she can be like finding Count Chocula, and it's Halloween. I like that it's got to be Halloween because there's chocolate in the air. There's vampires among us. Like what could maybe? All right, so Count Chocula's scary, even though he's not hurting anyone. Maybe Count Chocula could like use his scare powers to help the kid. You know, like if there's like a bully or something.
Ooh, and that's like they're how they meet.
Yeah.
I like that. Like he runs into that house to get away.
Yeah.
Count Chocula sees someone who's also being attacked.
Yeah, and it's like, sneaks up on the bully, says something creepy.
He kind of expects to scare them both away, but it only scares the bully away.
Yeah.
And that's how we get our friendship started. I like that.
It's like I'm a vampire. There's no such thing as vampires. Like, it's almost time for breakfast.
The most important meal of the day.
Is he a daytime vampire?
Oh my god, he's a breakfast cereal vampire.
Right? Like the thing is, like, I'm already saying he doesn't, like, the sun doesn't kill him or anything like that. I'm already saying that. But is he reverse vampire? Does he wake up for breakfast? You know, that's. Though you see him at night all the time.
Yeah.
So I think he's awake whenever. Like he does what he wants. He's not affected by sunlight.
Yeah. He's a Twilight vampire.
Maybe he should get a little bit of a boost from sunlight though, because it's breakfast.
Yeah. I don't know if that's necessarily important, but I am not opposed to it.
I'm not saying it's important. I'm just trying to like. What makes him not a normal vampire? Well, he's a breakfast cereal vampire, so like that's just like the kind of thing I'm thinking.
Now, is it all chocolate, or is it just his breakfast cereal chocolate?
I think it's got to be all chocolate. Otherwise, we're like really in a commercial. Like maybe it's like E.T. and the kid's like luring him in with little candies.
Like, I like our Act 1, where he gets run out, and he gets distrustful, because I like setting him up to be a recluse. That way it's about bringing him out of his shell, and a kid that doesn't have friends makes a friend.
That could also, just to sort of give us some more stuff to put in the movie. Maybe that's not the first act. Maybe it's not the first part of the movie. The movie starts with the kid. Once the kid gets to know Count Chocula, we learn the sad tale.
Why he's a recluse. That's fine. I like that.
That way it frees up. We've got Act 1 because Act 1's all about the kid, and then like.
And that also kind of grounds the movie. Like, who's it about? Is it about this chocolate vampire, or is it about this kid? And the chocolate vampire is important, but this first movie, I feel like it's more about the kid because it's chocolate cereal.
It's a chocolate cereal. It's for kids. And I guess the ending is the creation, the widespread. Does the media get involved? The media gets involved, and then like they create a cereal from it.
I don't know, because we can go one of two ways. It could be the media's involved, everyone knows he's real, but that could be. It really depends on what we want for the crossover movie.
Okay, well then let's think about that, because then that can give us some insight.
Because if we want this crossover movie to be, these are publicly known heroes almost, like kind of a Monster Squad situation, and they're helping people, then that's fine. If we end this movie with everyone knowing about Count Chocula,
it's like Iron Man.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be just something as simple as like there's like a Halloween party and this kid's new and just doesn't have any friends and makes friends with vampire, and then everyone goes from thinking the kid sucks to being afraid of the kid because he's a vampire, and then turns it all around at the Halloween party, and then there's like the parents want to like burn down the Chocula house, and then the kids come to his defense, and then they make a serial about it. You know, like that's like boilerplate, like kids movie stuff.
Yeah.
I mean that feels like that would be like the half-hour TV special version of this. Maybe that's what this is. maybe that's what we're doing. But I mean, if he's got a castle, like maybe there's something to that. Like maybe the Halloween party is in his castle. Maybe it's Casper.
Casper.
Wait, this is Casper. Wait, Casper's Beetlejuice.
Well, yes, that is true.
Wait a minute.
Like, if we want to do this as a series of mini episodes on TV that end in, like, a feature film, which is the crossover movie,
Okay.
then we're already done.
I think you're right.
But if we can come up with that hook, then we'd be good. But I don't know what that hook is going to be. Like,
Yeah, what's the hook? Like
it's a children's movie, and I have trouble with those hooks. Like,
what do
Pixar has the fucking brain trust to come up with theirs.
the problem is the hook is it's Count Chocula,
Yeah.
and that's not entertaining
hook.
for me.
Like, maybe it's fine as just a series of as little mini things.
Yeah, I'm thinking that this
And
is.
then we just focus really hard on making a really good crossover movie.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's like a mini series.
Which will inform sequels, because we can pull from that,
Yeah.
and then we can make proper full-length feature films.
So
This is a pretty safe way to do it. Like, if they were going to do it,
yeah,
doing it as TV specials, and if that gets interest and it moves product, then
Yeah.
we move on to a feature film. If that does well, then the next ones are feature films.
so 5 episodes. Each character gets their own episode.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think we have got enough material for like 20 minutes. I think we're good there. I don't know. I feel like we've done something. Like,
I agree.
We've found the limitations of a serial-based franchise. I think it's still doable, and it probably does require more thought. But I think the TV special route might be the best way to go, because I mean that you could put it up, on Saturday morning, and then kids could be eating their cereal, watching it. That's the thinking like a producer here.
Catholic like producer.
Yeah, Dark Spooniverse. I guess you could look forward to more episodes of this whenever we feel like it. I suppose probably not gonna do 5 of these in a row, but
yeah, we'll take breaks.
We'll take breaks. But yeah, I mean, let us know if you enjoyed the concept, and we'll try to do better next time. And if you have any ideas for other,
please give us ideas.
Yeah, this episode is based on someone's idea. If you have another idea you want to bring in, let us know in the comments. And also, if you have a better idea for Count Chocula, let us know, because we're keeping this series going, so we could always kind of go back and maybe fix something. Well, I guess that's all for us here at Screen to Screen. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, stay chocolatey.
Ooh.